Last time on the Empire's Edge.
Crap-a-nappa, I'm taking damage.
The guy is now reloading.
If Boris is ahead of me, I grab him by the shoulder and I say, "Halt!"
Oh, he had exactly 22 points of damage. Exactly 22.
Awesome.
So one of the thugs drops.
I think they have a net over the city.
This is the Undercity. This is what I could feel.
Hostiles watching in, probably house. Living statues on roof, troops on street. Stay alert, armed secretly. Guard pairs watching house in shifts.
Captain Kirsanov, message received and understood. Also, have possible location, a minaret structure. And you are awakened by the servants at around 11 o'clock, and you are aware that at this point you have leveled up. So where you did all level up, I didn't give Zelen the opportunity to play some things that she wanted to do before she actually got her long rest. So let's just retro play that. Zelen, let's go back to right before you go to sleep. What is it you wanted to do?
So I've been studying the crystal books, and they were able to put the magic into the stones. So I've been trying to decipher how they've been able to do that and figure out if I can do it myself. And I have figured it out.
Yeah, I think actually that's been over a long period of time that you've been like working with these things and figuring no you could and then to actually do it. So before you sleep then, what are you going to do? What kind of spell slots do you have left?
So I have figured out that cantrips can go into River Jasper and first level spells can go into Amethyst. So I have 4 pieces of Amethyst and I'm going to cast 3 Longstrider spells into those.
Well, real quick, do it an Arcana roll.
Okay. 18 plus 3, so 21.
So what you're aware of as far as the build goes with this special item, that for every 3 levels, you can cast a spell level into one of these stones. So from 1st to 3rd level, you as a druid, that you can cast one of the cantrip level spell into a stone, one of these semi-precious stones. And then 4th through 6th, you can do a 1st level spell into a stone. And then it goes up, it continues that way. So eventually, when you're very high level, you could still cast something as high as 5th level, and then it's going to ceiling at 5th. It won't go any further up than that. When it comes to the actual material used, by your own determination and I guess it'd be probably practice or experience, that you know that the River Jasper will take a cantrip, but it can't take anything of higher level. The Amethyst will take a cantrip or 1st level spell, but nothing of a higher level spell. So through experimentation, you'll know that there'll be some kind of a stone that could take anything, cantrips right through 5th level spells, but then some, won't take a 5th, won't take a 4th, 3rd, etc., going on down. So again, what spells are you going to cast into it?
So into the Amethyst, I'm going to cast Longstrider. So, because I'm going to keep 1 stone and give 1 to Jacob and 1 to Boris. So
I didn't get you anything.
I'm not surprised,
I was
Jacob.
sleeping.
I have to say.
I got keeping you guys alive to reach this level. That's your present.
Actually, I do have 8 shards of amethyst that I could probably just give you. I
was thinking doing swapsies with some of my 9.
Were those weren't any of the shards of amethyst you gave to the guy to work on arrows, were they?
I'd already taken those out of what I had.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
These are just, and I think they're all the way back from the lizard cave thing
Yeah.
where Boris
yeah.
got blasted
The
across the
apiary
river.
of bad decisions.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Thank you to Mike Sinkovich.
Thanks to
for that.
another listener.
I'll take 8 of those off my sheet if you want to put them somewhere for you to know that you have them now.
Okay. And so I'm giving, all right, so I cast 3 Longstriders so we can each escape. I'm giving 1 to each of them, and I'm holding 1.
And
so
you had those
without
spell slots
using any
open?
spell slots.
Okay.
I'd had them open the night before.
Okay, good.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm also going to fill 1 with a detect magic, just so that I can use it without using any spell slots.
Okay, smart.
And
Nice.
then I'm giving, because cantrips, I don't have any benefit to have extra cantrips on me.
Right.
But I'm going to fill 4 stones with Produce Flame, 2 for Jacob, 2 for Boris, and then a Thorn Whip for both Jacob and Boris.
Nice. Okay.
Right on.
So we each have a long strider, 2 flame, 2
2 Produce Flames
and a
and 1
Thorn
Thorn Whip.
Nice.
Mhm.
And all those were cast at 1st level? Or cantrip or 1st level?
Cantrip or 1st level.
Okay, great. Perfect.
And that's what I do before I go to sleep, because then I get all those spell slots back during the
Right.
night.
Okay, then you guys have your long rest.
And you were waiting on you asked him for a surgeon. I know you said we got woken up at 11 o'clock. Would it make sense to get if you woke up a little earlier when the surgeon got there? Would that make more sense?
Well, I think she has to have a certain amount of time for a long rest too.
Oh, that's
So-
a good point.
So at the end of the long rest, I think I'd said about 11 o'clock, when everyone's awakened and you're putting yourselves together, you have your spell slots back.
Yeah, I don't think. I think you were different, right? You don't need a long rest. You just needed to meditate for a certain amount of time to get your spell slots back, right?
No,
long
I-
rest
No,
would
at
benefit
the end
your-
of the long rest.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah, I can get it with a short rest. I can get some of them back.
Oh,
but not
gotcha,
all of them
okay.
back.
But then when everybody comes downstairs, Carl Woodvane approaches you, Zelen, and he says, the surgeon is here.
Excellent.
So he takes you into a different parlor room.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, will you show him into the second parlor?
And he's already there.
So then I'm going to turn to Boris and Jacob and say, the reason I wanted to see the surgeon, I want to see if we can detect any kind of steel cloud insignia on him. I just want to get a feeling for how far this network goes. I mean, we're all feeling a lot better. We all cured ourselves, but I'm just if you could help me just watch him. I want to see if he has a steel cloud.
That's why you asked Carl for one.
That's
to
why
see
I
if
asked Carl to
reached out
get
for
it,
one of his own
because we
cabinets?
know
Okay.
Carl is in steel cloud. I want to see, does he call somebody from the network? Does he call somebody out? I just want to see.
Outpatient would be really expensive.
Right, exactly.
So.
In network treatment.
So then after that, do just you or do all of you go there to see?
I think it seems like all of us.
Well, but the reality is at this point,
We're all healed.
you're all healed
Yeah.
because of
Right,
5e
yeah, but he
rules,
can check the scar and make sure that it's not going to be too heinous.
Okay, so you go in there. He introduces himself to you. And he's like, "How do you introduce yourself? Actually, do you because you have this dual thing where you come across as being just a woman of common birth, or do you want to come across as being?
Yeah, I think I'll introduce myself as Lady Zelen.
Okay, then, Lady Zelen, I am Guy von Scott. I understand you have an injury you'd like me to look at.
I would, yes. I've done some healing on myself, but I want to make sure that it'll heal properly. And I'll show him the arrow shot on my back.
Okay, so he's examining it, and he says, "Actually, this is after a few minutes. He says, there's nothing more that I could do. You have someone here who must have much, much greater, I would think, magical ability."
Thank you. I just wanted to have it checked by a physician.
All right, so
And I'm observing him closely to see if there's anything that
roll a
slips that
perception
might.
roll.
We'll do one too, since we know what she's up to.
All right.
So you're all in there, actually.
I think so. Yeah. Didn't we say we were?
And
What I thought we said.
19 plus 8, so 27.
Wow, that's
10.
again. Remember, I had this conversation with my son Victor, saying the DC for something I think would have been this, and he said, "Oh gosh, that is just crazy too high." But then when I set a high DC, like a 20, like a really high DC, and people are like, "Oh, I got a 27," it's like, dang, that is really, really high. So I guess it just all puts it into perspective for me. You do notice something. There is not a symbol. You don't get that the same way you did with Carl Woodvane, but you do notice it more like it would have been like an insight, I suppose, that the way that he is exchanging looks with Carl Woodvane, you realize that they're communicating some kind of information to each other that has nothing to do with this physical examination, that they're on a similar knowledge place, but you don't know what it is. But you saw no symbol on the man.
Okay, so is it like the looks that pass between old married couples kind of look, like, or are they like blinking in a certain fashion?
Or are they just roommates?
And they were roommates.
They are not roommates. And it might be somewhere between those two different things, that these two have had a very, very long relationship of some sort, but they're not, you would think, sending a code to each other,
Right.
but you do think that there is something that's making them say, either like restrict the information, you
okay.
don't say too much, remember who you are. It could even be considering what you did in front of Carl, just revealing that symbol for the steel cloud. It might even be, this is that one.
Right.
Oh yeah, they might know about you.
Okay.
Tipped your
Well,
hand.
I'm gonna pay the surgeon and
Okay.
thank him for his time.
All right. Do any of the rest of you want to have the surgeon look?
I mean,
No.
no. I mean, but also, I mean, noticing that he was sharing those looks is kind of answering exactly the question that you had asked. So,
Mhm.
I think I present enough questions wearing my armor than actually interacting with the guy.
Okay, so you
I
guys are preparing
turn my head
then
and cough.
to go to the Druid Circle itself. How do you want to do that? By what mode or means do you want to get there?
I'm thinking for me fairly directly and in armor, that having somebody straight down the middle makes sense. You guys, I think, should maneuver since you have more capacity to maneuver.
I mean, it's been 8 hours. What's the environment outside? Are there still people running around? There's still any sort of a panic or?
Yeah, looking out a window or out the front door, it seems fairly calm. Like
Okay.
things have relaxed. But,
Are the kids back on the porch?
yes.
No.
Yeah, Tim is on the porch right now.
I don't think we want to get horses or anything. That would just draw attention to
No.
us.
So I suggest that I turn into something else, so that if they're looking for 3 and we already split into 1 and 2, that makes us less noticeable than if I turn into a cat and I'm sitting on your shoulder, or a dog and I'm kind of wandering around close by you. That again would make us less noticeable.
I think a huntsman, in traveling clothes and modest armor, and his dog would be practically invisible.
Right.
I agree.
Okay.
I do have my armor back on too because I remember
Now,
had
I
that
would
off.
like to ask one of the kids to keep an eye on the door we came out of. I'd like them to watch that to try to figure out if people are watching that door. Do they expect us to come back to that door?
Which door?
The door when we went under the city,
okay,
and
got
then
The secret tunnel.
the secret tunnel door.
Okay.
I'd like to know, because if they start watching that door, then we know the person who guided us told them how
Or we were seen entering or emerging.
Right.
Yeah. When we were in that house, did we get into any sort of an idea? Did it feel like people actually live in that house? Like it was
It did
inhabited?
not. No,
Okay.
that when Landar Kabir walked you through it, he just seemed to be a common citizen, a typical citizen, and yet he has keys to go into this place through his own basement and then into this network. For the most part, it was simply a tunnel that had different juncture points, but it didn't look as though you could go anywhere else until you got to what must have been a great house at some point, maybe a long, long time ago, and then a layer of the city has been built on top of it. It wasn't until you got to that area that there could be other tunnels, hallways, but it did not look lived in.
Okay.
It looked, if anything, forgotten. Like whoever lives in the house above, you didn't note a way to go into that house without going outside to the door you exited from, and then by whatever other door the house has, just back into the house again.
Okay.
They didn't seem to be directly connected.
All right.
So, the other thing, Boris, I wonder if we want to talk to the Baron to see if he can get us some maps of the old city, because if we start using the subterranean, it would be great to have an idea of how
Yeah,
they
that'd probably be
connect.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
Not for tonight, obviously.
Oh yeah, no.
but-
That's
No,
something.
yeah.
I mean, that could be something that he already said that we could use the boys as messengers. That might be a mission that we send them on.
to
'Cause
go
I
to
don't
the
know if- I
Baron
don't know
to
if we
ask
want
for
to
it.
be anywhere close to the palace after
I
what's
think
happened
us
so
going
far.
back and forth through the palace makes sense, given we're part of the ambassador's entourage. I think an orphan runner going to the palace would be way more out of place.
Maybe one of the soldiers.
Maybe, but why would I send them and not go myself?
Yeah, just because it'd be great to have those maps sooner rather than later, and we've already got a place we got to go.
And I thought we were still suspicious of the palace guard too.
What you have picked up on, it does
No,
seem
they're
as though
they're mercenaries hired by Fleetwood.
Oh, okay.
it does seem as though that runners do go to the not just the big buildings like the palace and the library, but just to individual houses. That runners are used, these informal runners, fairly regularly. So they might get stopped, and they're still maybe they pad them down to make sure they're not carrying weapons or something. But
Or spoons out.
they do go in and out.
Yeah, I still think it'd be better if we went.
Okay.
So the stones, just so you know, as I give them the stones before we
All right.
head out, don't throw them. All you have to do is touch them, and you'll release the power.
I guess it
Don't-
would be useful to learn how to
Yes.
use these things. It didn't come with the manual.
All you have to do is touch them, and it'll release the power to you. So if you produce flame and you're going to throw the flame, don't throw the stone. Just touch it. It'll produce the flame, and then throw the flame.
Gotcha.
And it still takes a standard
Standard action. Okay. I mean, just an
And
action.
action.
Yeah.
And actions, right?
It's going to be hard
We
to
played a
relearn.
lot of
It's in the
3.5.
brain.
We played a lot of 3.5. Okay, so we've decided you're going to be going on your own path because you're going to be obvious regardless.
Yeah.
And we're going to be probably
I'm
taking the
shiny
same
and
route, but
noisy.
we're going to be, like 50 feet behind you,
I'd
100
say a
feet behind
different
you?
route, coming at
You
a
think?
different angle. Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's
I'll
kind
change
of
into-
splitting the party, which
and
we
I'll
decided
change-
we didn't want to do.
And I'll change into a dog so that I'm just kind of trotting around.
Yeah.
Near-
Still near me,
near
in
you.
proximity
Yeah,
to me.
in
Yeah, near
Jacob's
you.
proximity.
Yeah.
So,
So-
Boris, you would know like major streets at this point to get you back up to Garnsdale Park, that if you took the most major street route, you could get there easy without having to worry about getting lost in the city. Jacob, doing a survival, You know that hitting a particular DC, that you'd be able to navigate the streets. You've seen enough back streets. You know, like kind of the cardinal directions of where major points are to the major points. So you know you could go through some more circuitous or side street route to get there yourself.
Okay. And also we have the resident expert in what this place
That's
used to be like
Yeah.
20 years ago.
You start to turn right, and she's like, "No, point,
Point.
that way."
Squirrel.
All right. So then, let me just roll any kind of encounter to see if you approach anyone or one approaches you during the
I
walk
am
up.
armored with shield.
Yeah, I was about to make the same
You have
distinction
your bow.
too.
You have your
yeah,
bow with
I
you now,
grabbed.
right?
I'm
Okay.
completely equipped as if we were like walking through the Brimroar. I've got all
right.
my stuff on.
Got
And let's leave by the back door in case they're watching the front.
Oh yeah. Do we want to ask him for a key or any way of us getting into this house, or do we just want to knock when we get here, or come up with a knock that they know it's us and we'll just open the door?
Potentially it'll be morning when we get back.
Oh,
They
that's a good
They
idea.
do know that it's you, and I think you would have picked up on last time that there is somebody from in the back window, a little bit of like a bump out, like a bay window, a floor up, and they do watch that back door.
Okay.
Will you
Presumably with a crossbow.
will you send one of the boys to watch that other door?
I definitely can. I thought you were going to do that.
Oh, yeah, I could do that too. I just they have loyalty to you more than me.
I pay them.
Right,
They've got
exactly.
coin from him more than you.
Right.
So what do you say to him, Zelen?
She's just saying, pay for it, dang it.
I'm going to describe where the door is, and I'm going to ask them to watch that door or watch the area around the door to see if it's being watched by any of the soldiers, by the Panthers up on the roof, if there's anybody paying any special attention to that door.
So Tim's just looking at you for a little bit, and it takes him a bit to say, which door?
Right. So I'll describe it again where it is, and you might not notice it right away. That's okay. Just watch the area around it.
I'll do my best.
Okay. So I give him a coin.
Okay, then he leaves.
Yeah.
A coin.
Boris,
He
you're
looks
out,
down, it's made of chocolate.
you're out onto the main street. I think Spring Street was one of the more major streets. And as you're walking up Spring Street, there is like no one out walking at this time of the night. It's really, really quiet. And as you're walking, south, that is further up the hill, you see there is a guard patrol that is heading north, that is like down that particular slope toward you. And it isn't like they have to veer off or something to intersect you, but they do walk right up on you. And they're not so aggressive to say, halt and declare yourself. But one of them does say, "It is awfully late, my lord. What business keeps you out?"
Seeking a breath of air.
There are dangerous things happening in the citizen. I can tell by your voice that you're not local to Carn Keldley. It'd be very wise for you to return to wherever it is you are staying and shut the doors and lock them. It's potentially a dangerous night here in the city.
I appreciate the advice.
And they look to you, nod to you, and then exchange a glance with each other before they walk on past.
And I'll just keep going.
Okay.
I have sufficient rank that I don't care what they think.
Got it.
Sticks his
And
nose up at him as he walks by too.
so, Jacob, go ahead and do a survival. You're
Sure.
taking various side roads that, honestly, you may not have even been on before.
12.
And that's enough.
Oh, perfect.
That actually, I set the DC at 12.
Oh,
That you would
nice.
have maneuvered through here. So you're very pleased with yourself. That as you're walking down streets, you've never been on them before, and then it pops out on the street that you're like, oh yeah, we were on the street just 9 hours ago, or whatever that was.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I got grabbed by a gargoyle
you're
right
like,
over there.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
look at the bloodstains on the ground right there. And
That's where I murdered that guy. I probably shouldn't say that out loud.
Why am I saying this out loud? Why did I say that out loud?
and
Is he
then
doing his own theme music?
you guys done.
Probably not.
Then again, you go off the streets that you haven't been onto before, and then back onto them once more. So
Okay.
you're not even taking a route you've taken before or the party's taken before, but you're feeling much more confident, especially with this upper end of the city, that you're maneuvering. You're coming out right where you thought you were going to. So you have a pretty
Unlike
good map in
Atlanta,
your
the
head.
roads here are making sense. So I can come up with a guess like, oh, if I go through here, duck this alley, I'll come out in this general area, and it's actually working the way I expected it
Yeah,
to.
it's more like it turns out you're in Philadelphia or
Oh.
Chicago, and it's really
A nice
easy
grid.
to get along. Yeah,
Perfect.
get around. And then you come out, and you're just opposite Garnsdale Park. And as you are looking across the way to Garnsdale Park, you can see Boris way off to your right-hand side. That'd be toward the west. and he's just emerged, coming up one of the more major streets.
Gotcha. Perception, just looking around, make sure there's no one who's
Roll it.
been following us or tracking us. And I tell my companion, my puppy dog, and just say, hey, do you see anything, boy? Girl? Do you see anything, girl? Because I got a 7.
Me too.
I think I will
but
al-
mine is +8, so that
Yeah.
makes it a 15.
I think I will also do a perception. And unnatural 20. with
Nice.
A natural 17.
As you were walking, Boris, you recognized that at a certain point, and it was a few minutes before getting to Garnsdale Park, that there is a gargoyle up on the roof of a building. And you walk like right under where it is, keep on going, and it stays in its position, but it's definitely there.
See, this is why I wanted to take a few levels in Warlock, because then I could just go Eldritch Blast and completely screw with whatever your plan is.
Now, did the 15 over here also notice that, or are we just like, everything's clear and we just walk?
The route you came by, you didn't see anything. There was nothing that raised an alarm bell.
All right, so
with you.
to us it looks clear, so we got no other reason not to start approaching the park.
And again, that wasn't even at the streets that empty onto the park.
No,
that
yeah,
was
a few minutes
a couple
before I got
blocks
there.
before
Yeah.
when you saw that out on the main street. So are you all crossing from different angles and
question.
converging?
What am I in proximity to where that gargoyle is?
The nearest thing you would know would probably be, the nearest thing you would know would be the door you came out of.
Huh.
Oh, no.
Interesting.
Now that's on an adjacent street. It's,
Sure.
It's like a couple of blocks, be 3 blocks to the east, but this is the major route that would be nearest to that area.
I see. Interesting.
So no, I don't think we should all cross at the same time. I think we should let Boris go in and then we'll follow, or we should go in and then...
You guys should go in.
He's a ways away, so it'd make sense for us. I mean, we don't have to spread out. Like, why would I send my dog first?
No,
and then
I
follow?
agree.
No.
But I just don't think all that...
Yeah, we're not all converging onto a location at one time.
Right.
We'll
So
go ahead and head into the park.
As you're walking across,
And then I'll follow them because they know where they're going.
stepping out of the shadow of one of the trees at the corner of the park, a patrol of guards is walking toward you, Jacob. And he gets right up onto where you are, and he says, halt there.
Any Tabard that I recognize?
He seems to be city guard.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
so
is the
not,
same.
not the palace guards,
Okay.
but the actual city guard.
But these are the ones who were attacking us yesterday. Right?
Yeah.
No, different.
Yeah, we were getting attacked by a bunch of thugs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were wearing any markings on
No.
them. Okay.
No, so
Just their gang tattoos.
Yeah.
these would be like the actual standard city guards, not any of the specialty people that were hired by
Gotcha.
either the Razia Tower for their things or by Baron Fleetwood for his stuff.
Okay.
It's just guards, but they come to you and they say, why are you here in the Vista District?
And I introduced myself as Sir Jacob Treadstone and said I'm here for walk in the park.
Right. Sir Jacob, yeah. And I'm the head mage of the Razia Tower.
Congratulations. And I
You
try
have-
to walk past him.
They don't let you. You have no business walking in this area right now. Why are you here?
I say, is this
Or
not?
this is the most wealthy area of the whole city.
I say, is this not a place for people of notoriety, people to come and experience the trees and the grass?
That's exactly it. But most typically, those people only come here during the day.
Well, I'm here at night. I'd like to go for a walk. So if you would, and I
Do you have any
Okay.
kind of an intimidate or
Yeah.
a something that would make
I'll
them?
do that. Intimidation is actually one of my good ones. Natural 19 for a 25.
Holy smokes! So, what are the words you say exactly? Because that didn't sound very intimidating. Whatever it was you were saying a moment ago.
Step aside now, or we may have a problem.
Well, you rolled very high, and I didn't roll as high as that. So they would back down.
Yes.
That something in that, maybe it did communicate that you are actually a...
Maybe I had that accent on the twang on the backside of my voice, and it sounded proper for just a second because I've heard Carl talking, and I was like, I tried to imitate him as he
Maybe.
would say it. Who knows?
But you're now also aware
Or
that-
they're just coming back with a captain to actually arrest you proper.
that this is that there is a nobleman who's going for a walk in the park in the middle of the night,
A nobleman dressed as a wandering hunter.
dressed as a hunter, right? So
Oh, they didn't bring up anything about the way I was dressed because I could have just said, with everything that happened earlier today, would you not expect someone to protect themselves?
Well, I would have led with that to say why you're dressed, because they're looking right at you. They're not going to talk about your clothes. They look at you. They know what it is you look like and what you seem to be, and you do not seem to be a Nobum, by the way.
Yes, Lord Bumpkin.
And they're still eyeing you as they walk away, but you've definitely put suspicion into their heads.
Good. I go for a walk in the park.
Okay.
So I know where the Druid Circle is. So
follow
I'm
the
going to
dog.
start. Yeah, I'm going to start leading him towards the Druid Circle.
So do you stay still in the dog form?
Mhm.
Okay. And then a minute after
Following them.
yeah, you're going in that direction. Yes. Do you wait for the guards to go by?
No.
So you walk right by those guards?
Yeah.
Okay. And they say, again, seeing how you are dressed and armed, and they're like, my lord, this is not a good time to be in this part of the city. Why are you here?
I'm going to pull my gauntlet and show the Warland signet ring.
I understand, my lord. Be aware that this is a dangerous place right now. There are many, many different powers at work here, and this is almost in each of their front yards.
I appreciate the advice. Be safe.
And there's some kind of,
I saw you talking to someone.
I don't know what he's about. Maybe he's drunk. And then they go on.
Because I actually have the noble axe.
Drunk on power.
Not even though. What power?
All right.
As you get into the park itself, you're walking through it, and Zelen, you're leading them to, if you recall, it was not quite, but almost dead center in the park, and equidistant. And you didn't even realize that it was a ring of old hollies. There's enough of them that have been just probably fallen down from years of growth and then death. And then where new hollies being planted on the insides of them, that as you get up into the middle of that, you are at the circle. Do you stay off to one side? Do you stay in dog form? Do you go back to druid form? What do you do?
So I think I would move so all three of us could get into the circle, but I would stay along the edge. I'm not going to walk right into the center. I'm going to stay along the edge where I'm close to the hollies, where I've got plants at my back, so I feel a little bit more protected, and then change back into my form.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember if I even said to you like how big the ring is itself, but I'm picturing it in my head that it's like between 15 and like 20 feet in diameter. So, it's a good size ring. And as you're all there approaching the ring, from the very south side, the trees coming out of them, there is a very shadowy person walking toward you.
You look.
Entering the ring?
No, they're walking toward the ring.
They're walking
Does he
toward
look
the ring.
like the person we were expecting, or at least from the distance, like stature and build?
Yeah, stature and build, you'd say it's like the same size guy.
Okay.
Well met.
And well met to you too.
And is it Cormac's voice?
It is. Yeah, it's Cormac. And as he walks up, he walks right to the middle of the circle, and very unceremoniously he just sits down in the circle, and then is looking to the three of you or the two of you to do the same.
No.
He sits down in the center of the Druid Circle?
He does.
Who does he think he is?
He knows who he is.
I think I'll stand near him. Not like standing over him, but more within the circle. But I won't sit.
Okay.
Are you connected with the Druid Circle?
Are you still a dog?
No.
I thought I said you turned.
Wow.
I thought I asked you if you turned it back into human form, and you said you stayed a dog.
No, I said that we stayed in the shadows and I changed back into myself.
Okay, I
you said
missed
you
that.
stayed near the edge. I don't recall you saying that you changed back into yourself.
I thought you were still in dog form.
I think I
I
remember
was still
her
picturing
saying,
you in dog form.
I think I remember her saying that she transferred out of dog form, which is why that shocked the crap out of me too. Just snaps back with that comeback like, dog, girl, come on.
I mean, I don't
Make
have
up
the
your
best
mind.
charisma, but come on. I do what I can with what God gave me.
So what was your question to him again, Zelen?
Are you part of the Druid Circle?
Druid Circle. There hasn't been a Druid Circle here for, I couldn't even tell you, 40, 50 years.
You sit very comfortably within the circle.
Thank you, but let's get to business now. That encounter, I wasn't expecting to go the way that it was. When we recognized that there was someone at the Zelatis house, there's too much information that could be gathered there. Too many things could be found out about what's happening.
And how is the chest wound, by the way?
My thoughts were that as the other mages that were present laid into all of you, I would take one of them out before the battle even began, more than just a minute. I didn't expect all of you to be able to maneuver and move so quickly. Yes, no one was as surprised as I, as your sword hit me twice. Um, let's make a point to not have that happen again. But my point is, I want to be in charge of the Razia Tower. I don't believe that a mageocracy could ever work, that I will be the one running the Razia Tower, but I need time. And what I need at this point, the greatest opportunity has been created because you are here. And you might not realize that because you're here, that there are numerous powers that have been displaced, some subtly, some much more overtly, because of your current presence. You're an outside force. You don't recognize how these different balances are working, one set against the other. But that's the very thing that gives me my opportunity, that if the Razia Tower could be slightly displaced, to give them reason to pause, and then they could give me a place that I could seize control, because they'll need direction. They'll need leadership, because the group of them would be too afraid to act on their own.
Interesting.
And your intention is to work with the Baron, the Razia Tower, to, if you're not setting up a mageocracy, what's your goal?
My goals still are my own. All that you would need to know is that I wish to be in charge. I plan to be in charge and will be in charge of the Razia Tower. What
If you
happens
are
after that?
Against the Baron, you are a foe. I don't care if you are neutral to the barony, but if you seek to usurp or supplant, you are the enemy.
Then consider this. What is it the Baron himself stands for, and what is he doing here? Perhaps he is also a foe to your belief structure, and you don't recognize him as being such.
Will you help us defeat the Zrex?
I would love nothing more than for the Zrex to be moved out of this city and go back to whatever open grave they belong in.
So what is it you're asking of us? What specifically, what do you want?
The wizards themselves, the whole group of them together, are too powerful to confront openly. There needs to be something done that will put them on their heel. All they need to do is pause, and then I move in and provide leadership. Once they're used to that leadership, and with the allies within the tower that I already have in place, they will begin to follow my direction. And what gives them their advantage is something that they have taken and they found many, many years ago when they themselves were searching in the Brimroar. There is an artifact that is the eye of Old Bravus, or the eye of Bravus itself. And with the eye of Bravus, they can look in on their enemies and find out what they're doing. Tactically, they're not strategists. They would never be good strategists, and now they have diminished their own ability to strategize because they use the eye of Bravus. If the eye of Bravus were taken, then they'd be back on their heel. They wouldn't know what to do to move forward because they've only had perfect, accurate, and pure intelligence.
How are you protecting yourself from the eye of Bravus, that they don't know you're here or you're plotting this?
I have spells that can shield me specifically from that.
Specifically from the eye of Bravus?
Yes.
Can you teach me the spell?
I don't know what your abilities are. Perhaps with years of training, I wouldn't be able to teach you, say, right now.
Can you imbue the spell into something else that we could use?
I suppose I could. I've not tried to do that.
I'd like you to try to do that. I'd like that protection if we're going, if we agree to do this. And so what you're proposing is that we steal the eye of Bravus.
That's right.
Well, they're going to know we're coming if they know us as enemies. How can you protect us? Can this be something you can pull off, or what do you expect us to be able to do?
There has to be something that happens in the city that takes their eye outwardly. And that wouldn't mean the tower is completely unguarded, but I can allow you tokens that'll get you into the servants area of the tower itself. From there, I can give you map and direction to get to where the Eye of Bravus itself is housed and contained in a temple room. But to draw many or most of the mages out of the tower, something would need to happen outside in the city that would be a strong enough diversion to draw them out.
What do you know of the Circulusia?
I know many things about the Circulusia. That one, there are numerous factions that are taking place inside of the Cirque itself.
You're familiar with their guard beasts, the Umber Hulks?
I am. And I do know that they have had more than, I believe they showed up with 2. Don't believe it. There's at least 6 of them in the Circulusia right now.
What
And
better diversion could there be than an assault from under the library?
I would think that, coupled with something that causes tremendous distress in the streets, I think those things working in conjunction could provide just that kind of moment. If you can coordinate that for it to happen at the same time, then it'd be possible to get in and get to the Eye of Bravis.
We would likely need greater resources and, chiefly, to know what your interests are so that we can better coordinate between your faction of the Razia Tower and whatever faction of the Circulusia we associate with. Do you want me to attempt a persuasion?
No, not a persuasion, but I think you would need to do an insight versus his ability to either just be charismatic or to deceive, as he says the next things he's about to say.
Can I do an insight as well?
Yeah, you all could.
Okay.
Awesome. 16.
13.
19.
He says, all right, I can see that to secure your help, I need to adjust my own goals because this opportunity, well, it hasn't come in the last 15 years, and I doubt it'll be 15 more before something like this will ever happen again. So I give you my word that I will not openly confront the Duke, that I will not attempt to seize.
The Baron.
I will not openly
I've
attempt
done
to
that
confront
too.
the Baron. And
I thought he was just being a dick. He was like, the Duke. Just call him just whatever name he could think of.
that I will restrict my goals for the next 5 years to only be to be in charge of the Razia Tower, and will, as such, in those 5 years, only support the Duke and will openly support, I did it again, the Baron, in order to help him to secure his own authority by getting rid of this wreck.
And do I believe him?
And you do.
Do I believe him?
Yes, all of us.
You all believe him, but Zelen and Boris recognize he's on the level. Yeah, they're positive of it. He rolled a 14.
How many allies do you have in the tower? And if we get in, will they fight with us, or will they aid us to get the?
No, principally, how will we get in?
He takes out of a pouch tokens. It looks like he has like 5 or 6 of them. Maybe not sure who is going to be showing up here. He says these tokens are magically attuned to allow any person that holds one to get into the tower, into the servants area. That's why timing would be critical. That if you get into that area, you would still need to break into more secure areas of the tower itself. And again, I can give you map and direction how to do that, but this will get you on the inside. But if it's timed with many of the mages, they're not keeping track individually of when foodstuffs or other supplies are coming into the tower. But if you time it at the exact right moment with whatever disturbance you can do, whatever you're saying about something attacking from the underside of the Veda Library, that would be enough. That would truly shock them. If you have something that could cause widespread panic around the city itself, maybe in the same region above ground, you would draw out most of the mages, apart from the mage who is assigned to, at that moment, be utilizing and or protecting the Eye of Bravis. You would have a very good chance of getting there, getting it, and getting back out.
Who controls the gargoyles?
Each one of the mages in the tower control a certain contingent of them. Each mage has his or her own spies. It is a series of networks within a network, and that's why it's often been fighting itself in its own goals to subvert the Baron.
Do any of your allies control any of the gargoyles?
Oh yes, I control some of the gargoyles.
Okay, because that could be a way to cause panic in the streets above ground, is to send those gargoyles.
I'd rather not do that, because then if
Then
they
it'd be
see
civil war.
if they see that the disturbance is caused by other mages, then it'd be a total lockdown. The very opposite would happen.
Thinking back to when we were running through the streets yesterday, I want to bring up when we were crossing the streets, I noticed that one of the gargoyles saw me and decided not to engage. What was it looking for that I was not fitting the bill?
A description, a mental image and idea put into its mind by the one that was controlling it to seek out that particular description, and you must not have fit it.
Okay. Based on what you've told us about the way that they control the gargoyles, who are they picturing among the three of us to be the biggest threat? Who were they looking for?
They're looking for her.
Interesting.
Sorry.
Do you know why?
It's suspected that you have some sort of series of stones that have all of the spells that originated from not just the Kremlin Protectorate, but every spell that was known to Bravas, and they want them.
Why would I have something like that?
I don't know, or where you would have found it, but that's the belief. My suspicion is that one of my colleagues was on his watch turn at the Eye of Bravas and must have been able to scry to you and either saw you holding them, studying them, or utilizing them, or something that he believes to be what I've described. But that particular information was not given to me.
What do you know about the Steel Cloud?
I know the name. What do you know of Steel Cloud?
I know it has a presence in the city.
How strong?
I don't know.
What do you know of the Steel Cloud?
I was already asked that.
Yeah.
I know the name.
That's it?
That's it.
What do you of the name? What's the significance of it? What do you think of when you think of the Steel Cloud?
Well, the Steel Cloud is its own secret society. I'm sure there's probably many, but as far as I know, it has nothing to do with the goals that I'm asking you to involve yourself in.
And
see
nothing
them
to
as
do with the
allies?
tower?
If there is a member of Steel Cloud in the mages in the Razia Tower, that would be completely unexpected. I simply couldn't imagine that.
It's a reasonable assumption.
Interesting.
Do I have an accord?
What is your timetable?
The sooner the better. They're already slightly put off that the group of you were able to completely outclass the group to which was sent to intercept you. No one expected that. And then both the gargoyles, the combat strike team that was with them, again, no one expected that. They've never had someone that was able to stand up to them and push back that hard.
I look around to you guys.
I think we have an accord. How will we relay information?
Do you have magical means to do so? And he looks very decidedly over towards Zelen at this point.
Not at present.
I see. Then we'll have to do it old school by notes. I'll send a child runner to you at the Roth house where you're staying, and will expect or allow the same to come from you.
His delivery of knowing that we're at the Roth house, did that feel like he was putting something out there to try and test the waters? Like we would be surprised, like we thought that was our safe house?
Go ahead and do an insight.
Okay.
I've assumed that the Roth house is being watched.
Let's see. Insight is a
Now I've just got
16.
confirmation.
Yeah, you're positive that, he was telegraphing that, like, I know where you live.
Okay.
What do we get out of this? So we help
Man,
you.
what's in it for us?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
really, we help you get to your ambition. We help you solve a problem that you can't solve on your own. What do we get?
You get stability for Baron Fleetwood. If my plan works, Baron Fleetwood is in a position where he will not be so concerned about being ousted from power
And your assistance to rid this city of the
for
Zrex.
5 years.
We also get, call it between 5 and 12 archmages not burning down where we live.
That's another good one.
9.
Figured.
Okay. We have some planning to do.
All right, so
We
we
have an
have an accord.
We'll send messages when we can.
He takes out 3 of those tokens and just holds them up.
We'll take 6.
And he puts his hand back into the pouch and he pulls out the 6 and holds them up.
I'll take them.
I'll take 2.
Okay.
I'll take 2.
And
Wait, well, you take 2,
You
yeah.
take 2. All right, good. And he says, good. Send me a runner. And The sheep shears in the lowest tier of the city, not far from the main gates. That would be a good place to send a runner to reach me.
Okay.
What's the
Yeah. Do I know a business that isn't directly connected with us, but near enough that I could?
I was like, what's the location of that based on the Johann Street? Is there any correlation?
Way north. It's
Dang.
way further down the city from Johann Street.
Okay.
You would.
Well, he already knows Rothaus, so reach us at Rothaus.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a known. We're not losing anything by giving that up.
Earning Skillet, if you wanted your men to be
I don't want.
delivery.
I don't want. They probably know where my troops are, but
good point.
I don't want them directed to my troops.
With that, when you receiving the tokens, that was the same as a handshake for him. Then he takes one last look at.
Wait, I want you to try to give us protection from the eye.
I can't do that here.
I understand that, but I want you to try, and I want you to contact us if you're able to do it.
I'll try.
Thank you.
And then again, he's giving you that kind of steely look. It's like,
And I'm giving it right back.
all right. So, are you trying to hide something, or are you trying to communicate
He
something?
just started off
He's just
calling me a
intimidation
dog. I'm
checks?
not happy with him. When am I rolling?
Roll
A die?
20-sided die.
You just rolled a die.
Roll a nice big
I rolled
number
a
two.
17 plus big things.
Okay.
What is she supposed to roll? Insight, intimidation?
Yeah, he was rolling an insight, and
Me too.
so
So then I rolled a 25.
you both know that you're both hiding so much information, and apparently you really decided that you hate each other.
You both each mean business.
Yeah, and then he leaves. He's back into the shadows, heading further south.
Did he stand up like more ceremoniously than he sat down?
Yeah, he like crisscross applesauce. But people they kind of scissor their legs and stand up. He just goes straight up, and then he turns.
Before
about
you
and he
go,
walks.
what happened to the druids that were here?
As far as I know, they were driven out by the Zrex. But there hasn't been a sign of the druids for, like I said, I've not tracked them 40, 50 years. They're gone. This place is dead. There is no druid nature magic that remains in this place.
I wonder if they're still here and they just went underground.
And then he leaves. Zelen, as a memory, you know that's not true.
I do know that's not true, but he's going to be well gone before I say anything too.
Well, we're gonna get back.
Let's go back.
Heading back.
Home.
All right, so do you split up or do you go the same way again?
I think
Let's keep
together.
as a bunch. Yeah.
All right, so
the guards that were
yeah,
mean to me when we
I'll
walked in, are they still there?
Stagger, and I'll kind of have him by the arm. That pretend you're drunk.
Oh, I thought you said staggers and like leave like one at a time.
No. I'm telling you to stagger like you're drunk.
all right, so then are you
Wait a minute.
changing
Yeah, I better change back into a dog then. Otherwise,
the whole thing?
It
is
doesn't-
Stagger as a dog.
I'll be a drunk dog.
Let's see. So let me just roll my encounter die. And
Hey, joke's on them. If they felt that like intimidated
you-
by a drunk guy, I'm just saying.
you get to like the cover of side streets off of Garnsdale Park, and the guards were not on this route or this turn of their. I can't think of what it's
Patrol?
called.
Patrol, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and then as soon as we're out of reasonable view, I'll stop staggering and I'll start picking a circuitous route to get us back to the
Okay.
Rothaus, avoiding main
So,
streets.
Avoiding main streets, doing that. Yeah. So go ahead and just. Well, we can get that same roll from before. I'm
Oh,
fine
cool.
with that. So you're rolling the streets. You get to it. And as you are walking back, that you note something kind of funny as you come around a corner. There is a little boy who seems to be just leaning against a corner, and where you will pass kids like on steps to larger houses periodically, kind of camped out in front of them, sometimes with a small fire, but most often not, just wrapped in a blanket. There's something about the look of this person that seems really familiar. Go ahead and roll perceptions all around.
Aha. 13.
12.
Yeah, same with me.
12.
12.
Oh, nice.
That
Nice.
you recognize that it's Tim. That the route that you've taken, Jacob, is taking you right past where he is watching
That door.
that
Okay, I
door.
was going to ask if it was Tim or Bob, but like I figured we would have recognized him immediately.
And Boris, from the study that you were doing of the old houses and, old households, it isn't like they have their one house. They have holdings all over the place.
Sure.
That as you get to where you are, a couple things click together because you didn't get a chance to see this house from like the outside, like looking at the
A
structure
little
outside.
more properly.
Right. You exited a door, then ran down a street, to one side and weren't looking where you came out of. That you don't recall there being a way to get into the house from the tunnel that you guys came out from, that Landar Kabir took you through. But now that you're looking at it, you see that this door comes up like right underneath of a Strom house, one of those original households that were founders of the city. That this Strom house seems to be built over that house that's under there. But as far as you guys could tell from inside it, there was no connection between the two.
Any minarets or steeples?
It looks as though that in the corners of them, as you're like looking at the do a siegecraft,
Sure.
that
Math, 17.
oh wow, I was gonna say just say it's above a 12.
I'm an expert.
That you can tell that the outer walls to what had been the very small courtyard of this had been very, very narrow towers. It looks as though they've been raised to the top of the wall level, which is at about 8 feet. But prior to that, it looks as though they had these like very
style.
slender towers there.
Well, that's about matching the description for what we want with, or what I'm guessing with Shapanov's mission.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we should ask him about it, but I was
has
afraid
B&Es
to
are
mention
definitely
it.
ethical.
has Tim recognized us standing there yet, or is he not doing a good job of?
He actually does. He looks to see those people over there. So I was just wanting an insight for him to see, or rather a perception for him. And then his posturing changes, and he quietly comes up and he, goes, even though Zelen gave him the order, he goes up to Boris and he says, my lord, I'm surprised that you're here right now. My lady, there's nothing.
I'm a dog, just
Oh,
so we're
okay.
clear.
I forgot.
Talking to a dog.
I forgot the other way this time. So.
Tim is just addressing this dog very
No,
formally.
Tim doesn't at all. He said, but the lady Zelen asked me to watch this door to see if it's being watched by anyone else. It is not. I have seen some of the winged beasts flying overhead, the ones that the Razia Tower use. But and I saw one that was perched on a building out on the main street. But nothing in here. No one and nothing watches this door.
And no one's come in or out.
Not since I've been here. I've only been here for like an hour or so, something like that. Should I head back to the Roth house?
Yeah, that'd be a
Please,
good
yeah.
call.
And he
And
takes
I'll
off almost
hand him
immediately.
the 2 silvers I pay for good information.
All right, yeah, and then he gladly accepts that and he goes.
I'm sure he does.
Do we want to go into this building? We don't think anyone's in there. It didn't seem habited while we were there, and he didn't see anyone going in or out.
Well, a quick B&E is better than a long drawn out.
Well, just to see,
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, let's do a bit of scouting.
Yeah, none of us have any lockpicks or ability of opening up
See what
doors,
I have a heavy
Londier
boot.
was.
aside from
And a hammer.
breaking the door.
All right,
Let's try quiet first, and then if that doesn't work, I
All
don't
right,
think
you're
we
up.
should-
Is the door even locked?
I bet. Let's try it.
it is like latch locked. Something's keeping it shut.
Okay. I don't know. Using like the tip of an arrow or maybe a broken arrow that I have in the back, trying to see if I can like poke anything like between the slot and the door, trying to like hit the latch, just a very simplistic way of opening it. Or does it feel like actually dead bolted?
It seems like it's locked a little more harder than that, but I think a lot of weird things can have a chance to go. Tell me if you want high or if you want low.
I will take high.
Okay, it's got to be very, very
Feeling high today.
All right. Do you want to roll it?
No, I want to watch.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to this. It's gonna be really high. It's gonna be.
No,
Oh my god!
it's-
Just under.
It's dead middle. It's 49.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
It's like it was just barely almost middle.
The wrong one rolled a 9.
I'm gonna pull my hammer and break it open.
Okay. So go ahead and roll that as
Unless
a
Zelen, can you cast knock?
Oh,
I
that'd
don't
be
have
cool.
it prepared.
Ah, that'd have been cool. I thought you were keeping it prepared for the where
She
you
can
had
just
the books.
dismiss. She can just get past the arcane luck. She doesn't
Oh,
have
yeah,
to
that's
pass
right.
her-
I forgot. That's how that works. All right, yeah, boot time or hammer time.
wow. All right, so roll this to hit, boys.
Why do we keep you?
I don't know because I know how to edit.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an 18 for a 25.
Wow, yeah, good hit. Go ahead and roll the damage on
What's
it.
the armor class of the door?
Probably 10ish.
You gonna smite the door?
No, 9 points bludgeoning.
Okay, do it again. You can tell that it was a good hit, that it's weakened it.
Natural 20
Crit the
Ooh,
door.
Nice. Crits the door.
for 13 points of damage.
All right, so it looks to be like kind of crushed in enough that you think that you could get your hands on the edge of it and pry the thing open at this
Okay,
point
yeah.
without risking another
Yeah.
echoing boom impact.
I have armored arms, so I'm going to reach through the door, pop the latch, and then just open it.
Okay, so you're able to do that. Roll perceptions all around.
Gotcha.
Is there anything that I can smell or hear better because I'm still a dog?
17.
Yes, give yourself advantage on the perception check.
22.
Yeah, so Jacob has it definitely right now anyway. There are boots approaching. By the
bet.
number, I'd say it's 2. There's probably a guard patrol heading this way right now.
Quickly inside.
And then pulling the door
Allison.
shut.
Yeah, and prop the door to make it look as undisturbed as possible.
Okay, let me just see how
after
many.
being hit twice by a hammer.
Let me see how many streets close they are.
What?
We had no other option.
No, I agree.
Yeah, so
Start kicking the door from the other side to bend it back the other way.
they go running down a street. They get fairly loud, but not so loud they were right outside this door, but out in an
Right.
adjacent street. And they seem to have run right by. That they can't tell exactly where that sound was coming from. But, boom, because it was very drum-like, boom. And as they're running, trying to triangulate, then they don't hear it again. So there does seem to be kind of a guard presence out there right now, but not right outside the door.
I guess we're staying here for a little bit. Let's start looking around.
Is there any light?
I imagine.
we see anything?
There is no light.
There is no light. Okay.
Windows.
No, there's no window.
Oh, cool. So we can create a light source and be.
Well, but how's the door secured? Should we put something over the door so the light doesn't come out the door?
It's not going to be
Yeah,
secured.
by definition, it's unsecure. We broke it. We could. I think we just move into a different room and then create the light source in there and just stay away from the foyer if we ever have light with us.
Okay, do you try to rig anything on the inside handle just so it doesn't swing open or something? Or
I'll use an arrow. I'll just use one of my other arrows and just kind of
from what I can gather, I didn't actually break the latch. I broke the door and reached through.
Right, you
Right.
broke like a hole in the door. You broke one of the boards to it.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure what exactly I can do
So
to
I'm gonna
lock it.
turn-
That can't.
Back to myself
Okay.
and
okay.
low to the ground, I'm going to produce flame so that we have some small light in here, but I'm going to try to keep it kind of shielded so it doesn't just beam right out that broken board to see if there's any crates, boxes, boards, anything we can put in
Barricade,
that hole.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is some stuff just inside here. And as you're seeing it, you recall it from when you came through here the last time, that there are pieces that look like it might have been like pieces of furniture, broken things like that. And there's also different amounts and thicknesses of stone, like it was cut stone, like a marble sheathing. So there's probably a number of different kinds of material. You either try to plug that hole up with so light isn't coming
Yeah.
through it, or even putting things under the handle of the door to prop it so it's
Yeah.
just not going to come swinging
I
out.
say we pick
both.
something that's heavy but not too heavy that can't be carried, so we don't want to drag it across the ground and make more noise.
Okay.
And then we'll just do both, blocking the door and blocking the light and barricading the door.
Okay, yeah, so that's easily enough done. As Jacob's right there putting things into the hole that was knocked through it, and pushing some of the boards back in place.
Then
You get
I
that
will
secure.
switch to sword and stand guard.
Okay, and then you find a good piece of it. Might have been like a planking from an old table or something, and you prop that under the door and then against the floor. And so it seems like if somebody tried to just grab the doorknob and just try to open the door, they wouldn't be able to.
It would seem locked,
without
which is what we want it to seem.
throwing
And,
themselves
and
against.
this is the door that we came out of, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. This is the one that when that citizen brought you through.
Oh
Londu-
man, you know what? I've forgotten. Just
Londark
now
here.
remembered.
What?
Those rings we took off the mages we killed. Asking them what those were.
Ooh, we'll have time.
Well, Boris, you've been wearing yours, right?
Yes.
And Jacob, you put yours in a pouch, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever even look at the stuff that was in there?
No, we went to bed as soon as we got home.
And just didn't even, so it's still there, a mystery in that.
Well, I looked at mine enough to put it on.
So you're
Also-
looking at it really for the first time, Zelen, that you're like, oh my gosh, do an Arcana check.
Ooh.
17 plus 3, so unnatural 20.
It is, you recognize it as being a magical thing. That symbol of protection is from Bravus. And I think, Boris, you're picking up on that too, that it's a very old symbol
Yeah.
on it.
Wow.
And
neat.
you believe it is one of protection. You think that these mages were carrying
Rings of protection.
rings of protection, magical rings of protection.
Nice.
Love it.
Well, awesome.
Well, that explains why you-
wish I had put mine on.
That explains why you edited my character sheet to have the armor class 1 higher.
Then, Jacob, as far as I know, you still have the stuff on your person. You never took it off your person.
I'll take the ring out after seeing that and slip
So
it on.
one, you open the little bag that you just dropped it into because they had like a bag of money. I said it was money or gems. It is.
Oh,
There's about 15 gemstones
wow.
in that bag
Nice.
and a ring.
I wonder if I can put spells in
I
them.
was gonna say, it's like
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
that's
or
really cool.
buy
Or
things with them.
Or you
True.
could use them as currency. Yeah.
Hire
Yeah.
a spellcaster.
Like this one could buy a war horse. I mean, they're
Oh, yeah.
very nice gems.
Okay.
I already
Wow.
have a
Very
horse.
quality gems.
Good to know. And then so I'll pick the ring out of there and slip it on my finger.
Do you show it to Zell and do you hold it up so
Oh,
she can
yeah.
look at it
Immediately,
too?
like-
Yeah. So with your roll, you note that
went to
it is all room protection, although the symbol on it is different. That this is definitely from the Kremlin Protectorate. That these two things are probably manufactured maybe even thousands of years apart. That whoever did this is somehow rifling somebody's graves, or that they're going through
That's not a new concept.
structures. Right. That it could be that these
Or that
Razia
they're finding
wizards,
things under the city or in different
Right.
locations.
they're
Right.
opportunists.
Well, isn't the
they-
big artifact they have that we're going to steal a scrying device? Maybe they're scrying old sites like we do with the tower.
The old Bravis, the Eye of Bravis, that they themselves found this themselves at some
Oh, yeah,
point, doing
that's-
their own thing.
I'm digging on that there's potentially more time between the making of your ring and my ring than like your birth and the making of your ring.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're very far apart. They are both +1 rings of protection.
Ooh.
Nice. That's
right.
armor class and saves all up by 1.
Right.
I'm imagining I have to become attuned to it first before I can use it.
Rings of protection.
I don't recall, but I've been
recall
wearing
I
mine
don't know
long
if they require
enough.
attunement.
Yeah,
But
you've been wearing yours, yeah.
yeah, he's good on that, but also that's fantastic.
Google
That's,
Foo says yes.
Google Foo says attunement? Okay.
Yeah.
So
You've got to wear it for at least a short rest.
Okay.
So
I had
in
it
an
now.
hour.
Yeah,
But
right.
hey, I still feel a lot better with my armor class where it is versus where it was earlier today. So
My armor class is a 20.
yeah, mine's a 19. Mine will be a 20.
Oh, very
Dex.
nice. Yeah, you guys are going to be just
Cheater.
difficult to hit. All right,
I'm sure you'll find a way.
All right, so and you walk down that like the hallway
Yeah,
you came
we'll-
through before through that
we'll
wider
start
section of room.
into-
All right, so as you walk through that,
Taking a more detailed look around, because we didn't really have that last time we were being
And
led
we do
by
have
a guy.
the light. I mean, so when we first in this foyer area, like, are there multiple rooms off it, or is it just immediately a hallway that we're looking down?
when you first walk in through the door you came from, there's just the one hallway that goes
Okay.
back toward that gallery kind of room. But when you're in that room, you recall there were numerous doorways leading out of it. Like if it had once
Right.
been a grand house, there's different areas and wings to this.
Do you see a lot of tracks? Are there?
I light a torch off of Zellen's produced flame, so she throws it we don't go blind.
Okay.
Do you see a lot of tracks? Do you think this area is used?
I'll take a look.
Yeah, go ahead.
survival. Natural 20.
Nice!
Oh, yeah, good with it.
27? Yeah.
Yeah, so the last tracks that came through here were all of you walking through. It doesn't look as though, apart from that there's one set of tracks moving back through them, so he must have just, when you guys left, he closed the door and he went back through it himself.
Okay.
So no new tracks after that. I mean, you can very distinctly see each one of your own boot prints. As you're looking at that and noting that, and you guys get out to that main gallery area, you're up on a balcony with the varied light sources, and Boris, you saying you're looking around even more. Even without a perception, you can see the mosaic on the floor is a mosaic of what looks like different points in Carn Keldley. These people seem to be very big on doing
Wow.
mosaics in maps. And as you're looking at these
I
different
appreciate it.
the different areas on this, you're like, okay, I wonder if this is something very much like what we had seen in Zalata's house.
Yeah.
The way
Right.
down in that room. There seems to be something thematic about doing that. And as you're noticing that, Jacob, you see that there are a different set of tracks. You see that it's over top of one of the tracks that you guys made here just some hours ago. And it's big and it's solid. And it looks like there's something large moving around down here.
Thanks for listening. It's me, David Warner, the voice of Jacob Treadstone, here with another great podcast that you can add to your regular schedule. The Escape With Me Book Club is a podcast run by a couple friends of mine, Lizzie and Sam. Each episode, they choose a different book to analyze, pointing out the good, the bad, and the hilarious. Their most recent episode was on The Queen's Gambit, the inspiration for the recent Netflix miniseries by the same name. If you enjoy fantasy, mystery, or romance, they have an episode for you. Give them a listen on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you typically get your podcasts, and let them know that we sent you. As always, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Empire's Edge to stay up to date on everything new. Show us your support by telling everyone you know about us or by subscribing to us on subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge.